Hey now, say now, welcome back to the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty. A week after knocking off the Ohio State, the Stanford Cardinal continue their march to the national championship game here today and the college football semifinals. After knocking off the runner-up to the B10 championship game, today they faced a team that beat Ohio State not once but twice this season, and the Penn State Nittany Lions. They take on another juggernaut of the Big Ten Conference and the one that actually won the Big Ten championship game this season. Penn State 14-0, Stanford 14-0. It's gonna be a bloodbath. The captain of the offense for Penn State is redshirt junior Ethan Grunkemeyer, who threw for 4,000 yards, 38 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions to get Penn State to this point. They also have a star running back in Braden Honeycutt, who ran for 1,300 yards on 5.8 yards per carry and 23 touchdowns, while Zamir Smith also added another 16 touchdowns on the ground for the offense. Their top receiver was Matt Alton. He had 97 catches, 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns, while fellow wide receiver Tyseer Denmark added 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns on 69 catches. And then Larry Falau added another 907 yards and 12 touchdowns to round out the receiving corps. On defense, Anthony Specca led them with 85 tackles with 6 TFLs on the year, while Marquez Pitts, the strong safety, had 64 tackles with 51 of them being solo, along with 4 interceptions. Their TFL leader was Brian Kessler, who finished with 22 TFLs along with 10 sacks. Jalen Harvey added another 21 TFLs to go along with 9 sacks, while Liam Andrews had 19 TFLs and 12.5 sacks to lead the defense. Their interception leader was Darius Dixon, who finished with 6 takeaways, while Pitts added 4 and Torrey added 3. Penn State enters this matchup as the only other undefeated team in the nation, coming in at 14-0. Again, they beat Ohio State not once but twice in the regular season, 38-16 for the first game and then beating them again in the Big Ten championship game. They also beat Oregon 45-9 back in November to put together a pretty impressive resume en route to the college football semifinal game, where they blew out BYU 48-0 in the prior round. So the stage was set. The Fiesta Bowl to decide who goes to the national championship game is off. Dakota Clark's going to boot this one deep. Corey Smith's going to field this one in the end zone, and he just nails it down for a touchback. Penn State got the ball first, and Stanford's defense is going to have their hands filled with this one, even more so than they have with Ohio State, with a 99 rated offense with a 95 overall quarterback. So the action gets started. Ball on the 41. Grunkemeyer out of the gun. He's going to hand off to Braden Honeycutt. He hits the hole after getting some blocking downfield, jukes out a defender before taking down for a 19-yard gain. Then, very next play, Grunkemeyer is going to fake the handoff before throwing a strike to Matt Alton, who picks up 37 on the play. Then, a few plays later, play action, and this time, Dylan Stevenson comes through for the sack, and he's going to take down a quarterback to help stall out the drive. Penn State's going to settle for 3, and Nick Tonko comes on. He boots this one through the upright, and Penn State strikes first, taking a 3-0 lead. It was in time for Stanford's high-powered offense, where Jalen Mbakwe got the spotlight as the impact player on that side of the field. So, after winning the Heisman Trophy, what would Pinto do? He drops back the pass. He's going to find Mikael Skinner coming across the middle. Whoops! Jukes out a defender before taking down for the big gain. It then had 1st and 10 on the 50-yard line. Single high safety for Penn State. Stanford sets up a screen pass. It's Hazelwood. He navigates to the outside and turns on the speed. He picks up big yardage down to the 29-yard line, and he extends the drive with the offense rolling. 2 plays later, 2nd and 10 from the 29. Pinto drops back, then goes up top. It's Jalen Mbakwe wide open in the end zone for the touchdown. He hits the gritty, and Stanford takes the lead 7-3. Penn State ball again, now find themselves trailing. Grunkemeyer is going to take the snap from the 36. Outside give to Honeycutt. Linebacker misses a tackle. He then navigates to the outside and turns on the burners. 20, 10, touchdown, Penn State Nittany Lions. They come back quickly with a touchdown of their own, and they're going to take that lead right back out of the hands of the Cardinal. What a run by the star running back. State ended up with the ball back. Ball on the 46, just under 10 to play in the first quarter. Grunkemeier's going to fake the handoff, stands in the pocket and finds a man wide open up the field for a big gain. He's tackled down to the 25-yard line. Then, second quarter now, facing a 3rd and 1, blitz up the middle, and it's Dylan Stevenson for his second sack of the half. That stalls out the drive there, making it 4th down and 8, and Penn State tacks on 3. Then, on the ensuing kickoff, they're going to boot this one deep, but it doesn't go inside the end zone. Hightower's going to field it at the 4. He navigates inside. He puts his leg in the ground and turns it upfield. 40, 30, 20, 10. He takes it the distance. Kick return touchdown for Dante Hightower. His first one all season long, and he waits to the biggest moment of the year to take it the distance. 14-13 on Penn State's ensuing drive. Ball on the 25. They're going to send a man in motion as Larry Falau. Grunkemeier's going to fake the handoff. He throws it to the outside. He finds Falau outside the numbers. He turns on the burners. Maxson can't bring him down, and he now takes it the distance. Touchdown Lions, and they quickly strike back with a score of their own. Sparks are flying early on in this one as both teams are hitting the ground. Both offenses is rolling, and Stanford puts together a drive on their next possession. 2nd and 4 from the 40. Pinto drops back to pass. He steps up in the pocket. He decides to tuck it and run, seeing nothing but green. He slides down inside the 20 for a nice pickup on the ground. They then face a 3rd and 11 from the 20-yard line. Pinto's going to change the play before taking a snap. He drops back, throws it up top. It's Pat McLaughlin on the corner route for the touchdown. And just like two prize fighters, these teams are swinging back and forth, and Stanford takes the lead back once again. Penn State ball again with just over 6 to play. Stanford looking to play some defense. They're going to try to fake the handoff, and Trey Roden comes through for the 3rd sack of the game. At least they're getting some defensive pressure. They didn't get him in a 3rd and 16 on the 19-yard line. Grunkemeier's going to try to change his protection. It holds up for the time being. He can't find anyone open downfield, and he's taken down for the sack. That's big Sterling Sanders, and that forces a 4th down punt back to the Cardinal. Stanford then looked for a chance to pad the lead before the break. Ball on the 42. Inside get to Chris Davis. He breaks one tackle before powering his way down to the 30-yard line for a 12-yard gain. Then, ball in the 19. Pinto's going to drop back the pass. He decides to tuck it and run. He goes for the end zone, but took a big hit and lost the ball. Luckily for him, Stanford holds on as his offensive line recovers. Cardinal maintain the ball after fumble. Pinto's going to wait till the clock get down to the 5-yard line. Inside handoff to Hazelwood. He walks into the end zone untouched for the touchdown. And Stanford extends their lead just before the 2-minute timeout, 28-20. Penn State was able to tack on 3 before going into the halftime break, making the score 28-23 Stanford, and a very electrifying, high-flying first half. Penn State with 216 yards passing, and both teams were over 7 yards per play. Stanford got the ball out of the break. They set up at the 43-yard line. Pinto's going to change the play. Penn State's going to counter, going to a single high look. Pinto drops back the pass. He finds Mikael Skinner on the drag route. He outruns a couple defenders, and then he gets deep inside the 20-yard line before getting pushed out of bounds. Huge play to jumpstart the drive. That set him up at the 15-yard line. 2nd and 10. Pinto's going to take the snap. He's going to fake the handoff, keeps it for himself, dashes for the end zone, and the Heisman Trophy winner does it on his legs. Touchdown Stanford, and they extend their lead to 12 out of the break. Penn State had a hot start themselves, but all of a sudden finds themselves down 2 scores. Their offense takes the field. Grunkemeyer drops back the pass. Can't find a man open. He gets taken down for the sack and loses the ball on a fumble. It's recovered by Big Jenkins, and Stanford's defense comes through with a huge takeaway deep inside their territory. Stanford takes over now in prime position to put points on the field. Pinto drops back the pass. Blitz coming, but it doesn't get home. He goes up top, and it's hauled in by Mikael Skinner for the touchdown. Stanford extends their lead to 19, wasting no time scoring here off the turnover. Penn State ended up getting 3 before Stanford getting the ball back. They set up at the 16. Skinner comes in motion. Outside give to Davis. He picks up a block downfield, and he sees nothing but green. 50, 30, 20, 10. He takes it to the house. Touchdown, Cardinal. And they break this one open, putting 49 points on the board against the number 3 team in the country. We jump ahead to 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Same score as Penn State's offense is unable to get things going, but Grunkenmeyer's going to find Larry Falau up the middle. He breaks a tackle before getting taken down at the 26-yard line. They then get down inside the goal line. On the 4, Grunkenmeyer drops back to pass. His protection holds up, and he finds his tight end, Aldred Wick, in the end zone for a touchdown, and Penn State gets a few back. They decide to line up to go for 2. Down 49-32. They set up a screenplay, but Sterling Sanders was all over it, and that falls no good, and the score remains the same. Penn State then had no choice but to go for the onside kick. However, there's no drama in this one as Stanford's hands teams come through with the recovery. They run out the clock from there, and Stanford will be heading back to the national title game after a 49-32 victory over Penn State. They beat 2 premier Big Ten teams to punch their ticket to the college football title game. What an effort here as Penn State came out swinging and matched them score for score in the first half, but Stanford's defense finally buckled down and held them to just 9 points in the second half after allowing 23. 356 passing yards surrendered to Penn State. However, their run game helped them bleed the clock when they needed it the most. The defense came up with a timely fumble recovery in the second half, and that helped put the nail in the coffin. 234 yards, 3 touchdowns for Pinto. Grunkenmeyer had 356 and 2 touchdowns on 87% completion for Penn State. Stanford's run game was led by Josh Pinto, who had 9 carries and 92 yards and a touchdown, and Chris Davis added a $121 and a touchdown after that long run to get 6 on the board. Penn State had Braden Honeycutt put up 86 yards and a touchdown, but they went away from the run game late as they got behind and couldn't lean on their star running back to keep them in the game. Receiver-wise, Stanford was led by Mikael Skinner, who had 88 yards and a touchdown on 5 catches. Jalen Mbakwe added 40 yards and a touchdown, and Pat McLaughlin had 33 yards and a touchdown as well. On Penn State's end, Larry Falau had that long touchdown of 75 yards to add 126 on 5 catches, while Matt Otten had 4 catches, 68 yards, and Aldrin Wick added 60 yards and a touchdown on 7 catches for the tight end. Defensively, Dylan Stevenson was a standout for Stanford with 11 total tackles, 2 TFLs, and 2 sacks for the Sam linebacker. Sam Neely, Cole Beasley, Larry Patalsi, and Damani Maxson all had 5+ tackles, while Sterling Sanders led the team with 4 TFLs along with 2 sacks as well, and Jace Gilbert off the edge also added 2 sacks. On the Penn State side of the ball, Anthony Speckett had 12 total tackles, but no TFLs, and he was only able to make plays out in the field. They did have a number of players that had TFLs that looks like a count of maybe 8 or 9, but they didn't get a sack and they didn't force an interception. After the game, Josh Pinto received more accolades as he officially broke the single-season passing record in Stanford school history. But not only did he set that record, he also set the single-season passing touchdown record for the ACC and Stanford school record as well. And lastly, it was time to learn who our national championship game opponent will be, and it will be the number 4 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. What a way to end the season and the championship game against our bitter rivals. So if you're looking forward to that game, please hit that like button. Thank you guys for tuning in and see you next time.